Morning, everybody. Well, it's morning here. Today we're going to do the last video of how to finish up your holiday wreath mini quilt. Couple supplies you're going to need. You're going to need your quilted sandwiched little mini quilt. I ended up just doing a little stitch the ditch in the crevices here to hold it all together. The full size one that you guys are working with doesn't need a lot of quilting, so if you don't want to do any, don't worry about it. You're going to need your binding fabric. I'm using this striped one that goes with the bow on mine. Everybody either got 3 strips of green or 3 strips of red that goes with theirs. Get a pair of scissors. I'm using these as demos to show you how to sew those 3 layers together. Get a ruler because we're going to trim this out. If you have a binding tool maker, grab that. I'll explain how to use this and I'll give you a link for that. I use a screwdriver as my awl. Get a disappearing pen and go get one little extra 2.5-inch square from the squares I sent you. We're going to use this for a little bit of a cheater method when attaching the binding to our project. First thing we're going to do is we're going to trim this out. I'm saying trim this out because we're not going to be squaring the quilt up. We don't need it. It doesn't need to be exact, so literally we're going to just cut off the excess stuff over on our cutting board. So I brought this over to my cutting surface, and you're going to put this on top, and you're just going to trim off the excess stuff. We don't need to use the corners to square it up. We're just going to trim off the excess. So line that up at the top, trim it off, line that up at the bottom, trim that off, rotate it, and then do the 2 sides. And this is how it looks when it's all trimmed up. It's going to be not square, obviously, but roughly a nice even rectangle. Throw away your scraps. Now go ahead and get your strips of binding fabric. Those are the 3 pieces of either green fabric or red fabric that's about 2 inches long. Bring that, a ruler, a disappearing pen, over to your sewing machine. So you're going to take your pieces of binding fabric and you'll put them face up towards you. You're going to take the one on the right and you're going to flip it over and lay it on top like that. Instead of just putting these right on top of each other and sewing them together, we're going to sew it at a diagonal line right here. That way it'll open up and it'll create less bulk. Go ahead and take one of your rulers, and the ruler has some diagonal lines on it. Put that diagonal line on the top of your project, right there, on top of your piece of fabric, right there, so it's lined up, and draw a line with your disappearing pen from there down to there, like so. Now put a clip on that if you have one. Take that over your sewing machine and sew from there to there. Just like that. Take scissors or your rotary cutter and cut about 1/4 inch away from that line